Okay, so today we're gonna change the air filter for my 2017 Honda Rebel 500 ABS. And yeah, this is the first time I've actually ever changed an air filter on a motorcycle, but I've done it on many cars before. But so you can see I got the new filter here, and this is the part number right there. And then the tools I'm going to use, you get the screwdriver, the small flathead screwdriver, and a small Phillips screwdriver. And so the first step is going to be we're going to remove that cover, which is really easy. You basically just pull it off. Okay, so we're just going to give this a little tug here. And see how easy this guy pops out. There you go. It's already popped off. And then, yeah, so we're going to be getting behind this little piece right here, and that's where they put the air filter. So step 2 is going to be moving this piece out of the way. Okay, so I ran into a little point of being stuck here. So this is the wire piece that's in the way. So really what we want to do is we want to get to this screw right here. There's another one right here, and then there's a third one down here. And so we're going to remove that cover, but this little electrical connection piece is in the way. I tried to unsnap it from here, but it's really hard. It just won't let me disconnect the fuse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more tool to this job. I'm going to use this little Allen wrench here, and I'm going to remove these two little connectors right here, and that's going to make this piece come in half, and then it will expose the cover so I can get at it better. So that's going to be the next step here. So you can see the little bolts that are holding it in there. Okay, so now you can see I got the connector split there, so it's out of my way. This wire is still Okay, so I just realized this is actually if I touched that with my screwdriver, it started the motor, so it began to start it. So yeah, you gotta be real careful with that wire now. And now we're gonna move the screws there. Okay, so you can see I've removed the 3 bolts here from the cover, and yeah, I just went ahead and taped up this wire right here because it has something to do with the starting of the bike. Maybe it's like the starter wire or something like that. But anyhow, so now we're just going to work on wiggling this cover on out of here and exposing that, exposing the air filter so we can replace it. Okay, as you can see, I wiggle out the cover right here. This is what it looks like. So this is the cover, and I actually had to disconnect this cable right here. This cable, there's a little pin thing right here that goes into here, right into here. So just pulled it out, and that made it a lot easier so I get the wires out of the way. But yeah, so now I'm going to take out the filter. You see, it looks pretty friggin' dirty in there. Okay, cool. So now we're just going to pull out the filter here. So you can see it just really just clips in right here and right down here. You just do it with your finger. Let's see here. There we go. Now it's popped out. So we'll wiggle it the rest of the way out here. Yeah, it's probably the trickiest part about this is that you're in a real tight space. So I don't want you guys to have to suffer through me wiggling this out, but I'm gonna get it out of here. Okay, sweet. So now you can see that I've got the filter out, and it's super dirty. And yeah, so the recommended change interval for this is at 12,000 miles. So my bike has almost 10,000 miles on it, so I'm doing it a little bit early. And they're saying that you can get about almost a 5 horsepower gain from just popping a new air filter in. And yeah, so it just keeps all the air clean going into the intake. And there's a lot of aftermarket companies that do like aftermarket filters. I'm not a real big fan of them. Yeah, I believe in using the factory filter. And you can see Honda even went to the trouble to put this big steel mesh on the back. So it just shows you they don't want any kind of particles getting into that intake side, because if they do, they'll scratch up. They'll definitely scratch up the intake side of the cylinder head. So there's all kinds of videos out there on that, and I definitely recommend checking that out before you spend the extra money to get you an air filter that's going to, quote unquote, produce more airflow, which it will, but it'll also, let a lot more particles in there, and the engine life of your motorcycle will definitely suffer. So I'm going to go ahead and put a new filter in here. Okay, cool. So now you can see I got the brand new filter in there. So now we're just going to go ahead and piece everything back together here and fire it up. Okay, so now I've got the cover back on here, and I'm just going to put the 3 bolts back in and then assemble the rest of it back together here. Okay, so the only real part of this job that was tricky was this little connection right here. So this long one actually connects right to the left side here, and then this one right here connects right to here. So yeah, so I always take a bunch of pictures. That way when I'm in the middle of a job, I don't put the wrong wire to the wrong side, because this is a situation where you could very easily do that. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back together here. Okay, so I've got the connection all back together here, and I've got the little, very important, I can see, to get this rubber boot back on top of here, covering those 2 little Allen bolts. And you see these little slits right here. So what they do, they actually just hook up right there, so you can see there's 2 little flanges that stick out and just plugs into there. And then this one piece right here, so you get a little plastic grommet, and it just goes right into there. And then boom, put the cover back on, and we're all done. We'll fire it up here in just a second. Okay, so now you can see we're all hooked back up here. Got the cover back, the filter in, the cover back on. We got all the connections back up perfectly here, and we'll pop this cover on here and fire it up. Okay, so a moment of truth here. We're going to go ahead and fire it up here. And there you go. That's always the positive sign there when the lights flash up like that. We're neutral. Yeah, sounds like it's got a little bit more grumble now. I can actually hear the difference. Cool, yeah, so I just actually did my oil change yesterday, and now I got a new filter too, so this guy's going to be running like a top here, so definitely expecting to get the top miles per gallon out of this bike now. And yeah, I'd say just kind of a few tips I would give along the way for this one. If I were to do this over again, I would have disconnected the negative battery post before I did it. And always make sure to take a lot of pictures. And then, one thing I always make sure to do is when I do my work, I put it in neutral. So I had the rear wheel up in the air on my pit bull, and I had it in neutral gear. So. But yeah, so a little bit learned on that one, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully that helps you change out your air filter. Peace out, ride safe, subscribe to my channel, and tell your friends. Happy Thanksgiving.